If you thought it was too late for you to start something new, this episode is going to be for you. We have a special guest in the studio, and I am so excited to hear about his journey and his road to success. Welcome back to Success Unscripted, where we release all the fluff and we get into what it means for you to have success from the inside out. Welcome, welcome. What are we calling you? The Don? The Cake Don? What are we calling you?
You could call me whatever you want. It's your show. You could call me Don, the Cake Don, whatever you want. If you say Donald, I'll know you know my mother because she'll be the only one that says
Or
Donald.
I'll be mad at you. Donald,
Yeah,
don't you dare.
Yeah, that's about it. But you could, whatever you want to call me, Jess.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited because I'm so inspired by your story and all of the success that you've had. So why don't you give us a brief overview of who you are and what you do right now?
I'll give you the quick Cliff Notes version. Born and raised in Whitestone, Queens. Only child. Grew up my whole life. Artist. I would come home from school, latchkey kid. My mom worked in the city. I would come in and draw, paint. Was a drummer, still a drummer, but always creative. Wanted to be an artist my whole life. And, you get in that path. Out of school, I got a job working for Stuart Weitzman Shoes. I worked for Stuart for 18 years.
Wow.
Great job, but not creative. So for a creative mind, was not a fun job every day to go to. But 2 kids, house, 5 weeks vacation, 401k, great cars, great.
Yeah.
You get on that hamster wheel, and you get caught up, and you go, okay, this is basically going to be our life. We got a nice life, and you're caught up now. So now I'm turning 40, and that's what I'm doing. I'm in my 40s, non-creative.
So let's talk about this because I think many of us, including myself, we get stuck on that path. It's like you can't, it's a nice life, right? What do you have to complain about? You have, like you said, the week's vacation, the kids, you're married, you have responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want us to think about and talk about the mindset that you had and how you felt. I'm assuming that you kind of had that like tug of, this is a good life, and I also know there's something more for me.
Yeah, the first time the real pull came was I was able to exchange my equity, which is my talent, for your equity, which is your money.
Yeah.
I went, oh, I could use this stuff that I've been doing since I'm a little kid, and you're going to give me money. And the first few times...
How did that happen? How did the first time it happened, how did that happen?
So when my kids were little, I had a nanny who raised my kids. She would be with my kids. Me and my wife were at work. Her name is Meredith. When my kids got older, she stayed part of our family. She's one of our closest friends. She's like our family. She was the cake person if you needed a cake, you would call her for a cake. She would make these cute little cakes. She made my kids' birthday cakes every year. And her knowing my artistic ability, she had a cake she had to make, and she knew she couldn't do it. She called me and said, can you help me with this cake? It's a King Tut cake. And she's like, you'll be good at it. You paint and you sculpt. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I had never touched cake.
How old are you at this point?
I'm 41 now.
You're 41 at this point. Okay.
41 years old. I'm in my kitchen with my kids.
You have your corporate career.
I'm chugging along.
Yeah.
We're doing fine, And she says, can you help me with this cake? And I go, okay, bring this stuff to my house. And she brings the stuff to my house. We make this King Tut cake. And it came out amazing.
Do you still have a picture of it?
Yeah, so that you can splice the picture in right now in the video. You could show the cake. It was a great cake. I took a picture of it, and I did nothing with the picture. So just think to yourself, this is 2010.
Okay.
March 5th, 2010. Facebook is vacation
around.
Pictures
Right.
and, graduate, whatever. It's family stuff, and you stay in touch with people.
Yep.
Very few people are killing it business-wise on Facebook at the time.
Right.
Instagram is no video.
Correct.
Picture, description,
Right.
no reels, no. So we're talking about nobody's really utilizing it to the fullest.
And that also wasn't your mindset, I'm assuming.
No, but
right?
nobody was even really doing
Correct.
that. So it wasn't my thought, let me put this cake.
Right.
3 days later, I don't know why. I wish I could tell you this great story that, the clouds opened.
You had it in a dream.
No, I just I posted the cake on Facebook like I do all my artwork.
Yeah.
And I wrote, check out this cake I made. That's it. I put the King Tut cake and I wrote, check out this cake. And my friend Chris Falco, who I grew up with in Whitestone, shout out Chris Falco, immediately comments. 90 seconds later, he writes, you're the cake, Don. Instantly. And I laughed. I'm like, ha, 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 can I use that? Nothing. I didn't think of anything. And that day, 2 people contacted me for cakes.
To make them a cake.
On Facebook inbox. And I went, huh.
Okay, so let's talk about this because what did you think success was for you prior to this moment, prior to you doing this, right? And from what I'm hearing you say is you had your corporate career, you had your work life, you guys went on vacation, whatever. Did you have a creative outlet at all prior to this?
I always painted, sculpted. I was a musician. I was in a band for years and years and years.
Okay,
I
so
always was creative. I was always making stuff. I would always do stuff with my kids. We would paint and sculpt. So I was always expressing myself creatively.
Okay.
But for a creator, the line from you're an artist to you're an artist who feeds your family, that's the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
That's not a line where you don't even see a path. Like, I'm 40.
It's hard to see a path
40 and I'm
forward.
going, I don't even, there is no even way over there. I see artists and I go, I can't. This is it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work. I'm going to go to Aruba once a year and we're going to go to Disney and we're going to have, I got the 745 IL BMW and, my wife's got the big truck with the screens on the seats.
So that was success.
It was cool. It was a cool life.
In your mind, right? But in your mind.
No, that was never success.
You did not.
No.
What did you think success would be at that prior to
I'm gonna
making
be
the
honest
cake?
with you.
Yeah.
I still don't know. I still don't know what success is. I don't really think about it. I'm not, and I think my age, I'm 56, I'm going to be 57. I think my age has a lot to do with it. I'm not, the Ferrari pulls up at the light and I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't really care.
But so let me ask you this. Is success for you a feeling or is it a thing?
Success for me is right now, where I'm just going to speak for right now because 10 years ago, I'm not really even sure where I'm still very unsure. I just had a conversation with my daughter on the ride over here. I have some stuff coming up this week. Some doors are being opened that I'm going to be allowed into. And my imposter syndrome right now is through the roof, man.
Oh, I love that.
My imposter syndrome right now, and my friends who I'm going to be spending the week with, if they hear this, I know they're my friends. And I know this opportunity came because I worked hard and relationships I built. But there are rooms I'm getting into that I'm not paying my way into.
Right.
Because I know people, they pay their way into, they're in a room with Tony Robbins. And I go, oh, how much did you pay?
Yeah.
To hang out with Tony Robbins. Oh, I paid $15,000. I go, oh, okay.
Right.
But I'm getting opportunities come up. My imposter syndrome right now is raging. And I still don't know what success looks like for me. I'm making great cakes right now. I'm selling artwork in my shop. I'm selling graffiti art in my shop, which was never a plan. But I would post my graffiti pieces and people started saying, could I buy those? So I'm like, okay. So I start hanging.
You're like, hell yeah, you could buy them.
Start hanging canvases in the shop. And now I post it on my Instagram and they sell in and out. Like they're gone.
Okay. So let's unpack this because you have made cakes. Let's talk about who you made cakes for.
Okay.
Because you're saying the imposter syndrome's kicking in, which I think is very normal, but I want to normalize this, that when we get to one level, there's still another level. There's still another level. And that insecurity, imposter syndrome, whatever it was when we were 10 years old, will come right back. So who have you already made cakes for? What doors have already been open?
I've had some opportunities. I've made some cakes from some really cool people. I've done a cake for Shaq, Donnie Wahlberg. I did J-Lo's Bridgerton birthday cake this past year.
This last
year. I've done cakes for the owner of the Mets. I've done some cool cakes. I've done some really...
So you've been in good rooms already.
I've been in cool rooms, but when you walk in a room because you made somebody a cake, you deliver the cake and you walk out of the room. You're there. you're there providing your service,
Right,
right?
you're there
So you're
providing
there,
service.
get your cake. The cool part about social media now is I get the picture of the person with the cake,
Yeah.
and now that adds instant.
But there's also a creative process, and there's a reason why they chose you. So you still have that credibility of they trust you, right? A cake is a big deal.
Yes.
They trust you. There's a creative process prior to.
Once a J-Lo puts her stamp, once...
It's known to be a perfectionist.
Yes, and once she puts the stamp and poses, and she posted the cake, she put it everywhere. She put video of herself eating the cake. It was in People. It was in Today's Show. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
Once that happens, and you go to my Instagram, and I pin that, that's the first row.
Yeah.
Now you go to my Instagram, and you go, oh, yeah, that's the guy. I'll use that guy.
The credibility is
Yes,
through the
he
roof.
made J-Lo's cake. He made Shaq's cake. He made Sebastian Maniscalco. I'll use that guy. And it's great. The rooms I'm talking about are rooms I get in because I get invited to the room with no cake. Yeah, that's when I
Which,
start.
by the way, I am upset that I didn't get a cupcake or
Yes.
something. Just FYI.
Well, today,
I'm going to put that out there.
Just let everybody know it's a Monday and the shop's closed on Mondays. We have no product. I would always, my mother raised me right. I would never come here without cake.
Well, he owes me a piece of cake.
but
We're making it official
The
right
shop
now.
is closed. There is no product on Monday, so don't.
Joking.
Yes, I would definitely bring it. But it's when I'm in a room. You know, I'm at a dinner the other night with no cake involved, and now I'm at this dinner. Yeah, I get a little like, you know, like, oh, they're gonna figure me out. Somebody's gonna figure me out soon.
So talk to me about what that feels like. Where do you think that's coming from?
I think everybody's got it.
Oh, 100%.
We all have it inside.
But
of
where's
us.
that coming from for
Well,
you
that's
right
my
now?
insecurity as an artist. I mean, there is a thing that artists deal with. Our whole existence, unlike an accountant or a lawyer, is based on somebody else's opinion of what you create.
Yeah.
So if I create something and I put it out to the planet and nobody likes it, I don't know who would not take that personally. I'm so emotionally connected to this artwork and to this thing that we're creating, and nobody reacts to it. We do some cakes and hours and hours and the design and the thought, and I think this is going to break the internet. Yeah. This cake is going to break and then we post it and you get 60 likes and you're like, what is happening here? Like, I have no idea what people like. Then we post this simple divorce cake, which I didn't think anybody is going to like.
All the emotion behind that, though.
So that's what happens. I post it and it has 16 million views on my Instagram. 16 million. But I didn't realize it was what it evoked in the person who looked at it.
That's right.
And then that person sent it to all their friends, and they sent it to, and it just kept going and going.
Well, when you think about the divorce rates being, and again, you probably can't relate. You've been married 29 years.
Yes.
But
I come from, we're all surrounded by divorce.
It was 58%.
Yeah, we're all surrounded by it, and we get it.
But the emotion for you isn't there.
Yes.
Right? So there's a 58% divorce rate. And then out of the people that are married, there's a small percentage that are actually happy.
Yes.
Right? So the emotion isn't there for you. You're like, oh, divorce cake. Cool. You know, people get divorced.
No, it lit the thing on fire.
Exactly.
The comments are still going, and I posted it. I mean, it's year, and I still get comments every day on it. Yeah, it's crazy. So I decided I'm not going to try and figure out what people like. I'm going to put out.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm going to put out what I like. And then that's what people end up liking because it's the most authentic product I could put out. I do artwork. So I do these graffiti pieces and I do Trust Your Struggle, right? I do this Trust Your Struggle piece. And I did it for myself. It was my mantra.
Yeah.
I would write it for myself. I've written Trust Your Struggle in all my artwork for years. I made one big Trust Your Struggle piece and I posted it and people responded to it. Now I just I make it, I post it, and people buy it because your Trust Your Struggle and my Trust Your Struggle, it's not the same story, but it's the same.
So
whatever your struggle is the same as mine.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that because I think people will think, or people do think sometimes, like they see you in this era, they see you in this moment, and they're like, I mean, like, what's the problem?
Here's the difference. I get on my social media, I'll get on my Instagram story, and I talk about today is not okay. I don't feel good, and I'm not doing good, and this is kicking the shit out of me.
And even with you saying that, there will still be people that say, well, yeah, what is he talking about?
Yes.
So I want us to normalize the fact that, okay, that you made cakes for all of these people, there's still some imposter syndrome there, right? There's still a struggle. And so where does that come from? And how has that trust your struggle evolved over time?
Yeah, I don't identify as my job. Like people say, you know, they walk in my shop and they're like, look at this plate. And I go, I don't even think we got started yet. I so identify with being a dad with my 2 kids. My level of anxiety daily will go up and down based on how they're doing. I'm so dialed into them, my family. I put the importance in my creative, and it's everything because it's enabled me to do this. But it's not. I'm not that. I'm not identified by my job, and my struggle is my struggle. I've said it a couple of times before, and people have responded to it. I carried these bags around for years and years. I carried the childhood trauma around for years, right? And it allowed me to be stuck. All through my adulthood, allowed me to be stuck. So for a creative person, I took the bags, what was packed in them, and I put them in a backpack, and I put the backpack on. So now my trauma is in the backpack, and it freed up my hands to create. Okay, I still have the weight. I haven't figured out how to get rid of it, but I'm able to coexist with it and create. Too many people don't figure out how to put it down.
Yeah, it sounds like you were able to, the metaphor you're using, which is beautiful, like you said, coexist with it, but not only more than coexist, because you're able to, you know, make your pain your passion, and you're able to put it into your art, and you're able to speak to people this way.
What song, for all of us, is different? You're driving in the car on your way here today. You pull in the parking lot. There's a song that will keep you in that car until it's over.
Yeah.
And you will take your glasses off. You will have to wipe your face.
Yeah.
Get yourself composed, and you'll walk back in.
Yeah.
Because that song, no matter where you are, that song was not written because somebody was on a beautiful sunny day walking through the grass. That song was written. They were going through
They were going through it.
Yeah, and you feel it.
You know, you say this to me, and you know the first thing that comes to my mind is the whole My Life Mary album. She was going through it.
Listen, there's a performance. Mary performs. She does No More Drama. There's a live performance. You can find it on YouTube. I think it might be the Motown. I'm not sure where it's from, but it's her. It's a religious experience to watch her go through it.
Yeah.
You know she's talking to somebody. She's basically bleeding. She's on stage.
Yes.
But that song, for me, for you, it was created out of the person was in a fetal position, dying on the floor.
Pain.
I'm attracted to that.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to the painting where I look at it and I go, wow, what was that? What was that person going through? The movies, Severance right now. This show Severance on Netflix. If you're not watching Severance,
I don't really watch a lot of television.
You got to watch this show because you'll sit after it's over and you'll be like, what did I just watch? It makes you feel something. The music that makes me feel something, the art, the books, the movies. That's what I'm drawn to.
And the people. For me, it's the people.
Whoever created, right? But
meaning like the humans that I interact that have those walls down, like you. You have the walls down. You're like raw. Those people, those are my favorite people.
Yes,
it's like I could talk to you forever because we're having real dialogue.
You'll think about this conversation later today. I'll think about some stuff you said. I'll be driving and I'll go,
yeah, bing.
You know, she said this, and it'll resonate. There are people. As soon as you shake hands and they walk out the door, you don't even remember their name. And that's not their fault.
Exactly.
They're putting up a facade for a reason. They're protecting their real self for whatever reason. But the ones that you think about days and days later and you go, for some reason I got to get back with that person.
Yes. And that's what happens. And that's what, number one, that friend of yours, that's why she called you, right? She thought about you. But I want to rewind a little bit because there may be people in listening now that are thinking, what's next for me? And afraid to leave whatever they have in this moment.
Yeah.
And you left an 18-year stable job.
I get it.
At what point did you do that? Like, what was the decision that made you leave?
There's a real thing about living on Long Island, man. You can't just leave.
Yeah.
You can't just leave your job. You know, you got kids, you got camp, you got gymnastics, arts and crafts, you got summer vacation, summer camp. You know, this machine living on Long Island is a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. And if you there's an epidemic going through everywhere with people with no passion for anything. Mm-hmm. So if you have no passion, you say to yourself, "What am I? I'm going to leave this. All right, I'm not passionate about this job, but I'm not really passionate about anything. I go home, I put the TV on, I eat some food, and I just do it again. I get on the train, I go to my job, and I do it again." That lack of passion is a killer. So
how do you find your passion? Because I would agree with you. I think even for me, when I was in corporate, I was like, what is, like, when people would ask, like, what are you excited about? And I liked my job. I really did. But I didn't know exactly what I loved about it, right? So I liked making money. I liked my clients. It was fun. It was exciting. There was a lot that I actually liked about it, but I also knew there was something so much more for me. I just couldn't make that connection, right? And so when you talk about finding your passion, I think that right there, if someone can figure out how to like force people to find their passion, we'd be millionaires, right?
We're not allowed. We don't allow it.
Correct.
We don't allow it at 19, 20, 21. At 21, you were told, you got to get a job, man. What are you doing?
Baby, at 5, you're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like they want you to make that decision when you're a baby.
You're not allowed to find your passion. So right now, have you ever done downhill skiing where you go through these slaloms and, right? Have you ever done that?
I have.
Right. So if you dedicated 5 years to that, you may have ended up being the best slalom downhill ski, but you don't even know. Have you ever played the drums?
No.
Right. So you might be the most gifted drummer on the planet who's never picked it up You never picked up drumsticks. So there are people who don't try anything go, I have no passion. Yeah, because you don't do anything.
Exactly.
So for the 20-year-old, who I happen to have a 23-year-old right now, man, I tell her, try everything, man.
Try everything.
You got so much time. You got so much going on ahead of you. If you spend 5 years trying everything, you're 28.
Yeah.
You're 28 years old. And maybe you find something. Most people just get comfortable. They go, I've never been drawn to anything. They've never really tried anything. My curse was, as a kid, I found them so early. I found music, comic books, art, like all these things. But I think that was a product of being an only child, not having any siblings. I was left to myself every day after school, locked myself in, and I drew, and I watched TV, and I listened to music. I put the record on. I played the drums, and I was able to sit alone and find it.
You were almost forced to use your imagination.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Which I do every day still.
And that's the key.
I do every day
that's
still.
That's what we lose. It's like I always hear SpongeBob in my head. Use your imagination, because we really need to do more of that. We need to tap into that little kid that we used to be and use our imagination more.
Yeah, and right now, for a creative person, this is the best possible time you could ever be alive right now.
Yes.
I had a dream, and I'm going to tell it here first. I'm going to make a reel about it and talk about it. But I had a dream, and you wake up and you forget the dream.
Yes.
And you're so frustrated. You could feel it. It's right here, and I forgot it. And I was walking in a store, and an elderly man was walking out, and I looked at him, and I went, oh. And the whole dream came back. So here's the dream. I don't know what it means. An older man approaches me in my dream, and he starts talking to me about the cake shop, the Cake Don, and whatever. It's such a great shop, and the cupcakes and whatever. And he's telling me how much he likes the shop. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And he tells me to put my hand out. And I put my hand out, and he puts his hand on top of my hand, and he takes his hand off, and I look, and there's an old, scratched, dented, the crystal on it is cracked Rolex. I don't own a Rolex. I'm not a watch guy. But there's this old, beat-up, damaged Rolex in my hand. And he said, that's for you. And I said, wow, thank you so much. I said, I'll get it I'll take it to the jeweler. I'll get it all fixed up. And he said, if you fix that watch, you can't keep it. You have to keep that watch the way it is. And the dream ended. And I've thought about, that's like a week and a half ago, and I've thought about that dream every day. And I don't know what it meant, but I don't know if I'm the Rolex, which the thing's so valuable, but it's a little dented and it's a little cracked and it's a little scratched and a little scuffed up, or it means something else, or whatever it meant. I'll have dreams. How many people could have a dream about something and then go to work the next day, make it, and 2 hours later post it? Like,
that's what you made the
I've
clock.
had dreams about a cake, and I wake up and we go to work, and I tell everybody we have to make this cake. So now this dream I had 4 hours ago is actually 12 hours later. It's on my Instagram. This is, you can make your own. You could create your own thing, man. 20 years ago, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
I would have a dream, and I'd say, I'm going to make, and you'd go, you'd sketch it, you'd draw it, make a prototype, take it to somebody. Now you could just do it. And for younger kids, teenagers, for people to ask them what they want to be, what they're going to be with AI, with all this, that job doesn't even exist yet.
Right.
Doesn't even exist.
Right. So I want to go back to your dream a little bit. So I practice a lot of like breath work and meditating and all of that stuff. And so I have been playing with dreams lately because I don't really ever remember my dreams. So number one, I've been asking before I go to sleep to remember my dream, and I have been remembering more dreams.
Do you write them when you wake up? Do you write them right down?
I haven't, but I probably should.
Yeah, keep a pen and a paper.
So I had a dream the other day.
Okay.
Weird. Very weird. So I had a dream that I was sleeping in this dream, and when I woke up and I wasn't in a hospital. I was in a car or somewhere, and I gave birth to a baby. But I gave birth like Kourtney Kardashian way. I don't know if you ever saw that when she just like pulls the baby right out of her. Like,
I didn't.
No real pain. They filmed the whole thing. But anyway, it was kind of like that. And it was weird. And I remember thinking in the dream, like, this is so weird. And I just took the baby out and I had the baby and it was like, fine. Why do I see an Instagram reel 2 days later where the woman had the baby in the car just like that? I mean, she was like uncomfortable, but no pain, no screaming, no nothing. She pulls the baby out and then they're driving.
Did you go right on Google and see what that dream means?
So I did.
Yes.
So I did. And it said that it was like birthing of a new project, that it was going to be easy and flowy and not, right? So I'm like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
So my point is, what you could also do is before you go to sleep, ask them for the meaning of the dream. And it will come to you. I believe God sends us messages in dreams. You're not the only person that says, that something came to you in a dream and they developed. One of my clients, they got a business idea of a dream and lasted for 10 years, made millions of dollars. And so I believe that we can pay more attention to our dreams.
If you talk to the greatest songwriters in the world, they will tell you the song was written in like 4 minutes.
That's right.
It came to them.
Exactly.
If you're arrogant enough to think, if I'm arrogant enough to think, or anybody is, that I am responsible for all these opportunities I'm getting. I mean, okay, you could be that guy. I am not that guy. I'm involved. I'm the vessel, the vehicle that's carrying out this stuff. But these things, this opportunity is coming to me. These things are coming to me. I daily look to the sky and go,
yes, thank you.
I'm listening. Whoever.
Well, that's what it is. You are responsible because of that part. Because they will come to you. You don't have to necessarily listen. There's still free will.
Of course.
Right? And there's still an ability for you to either believe or not believe in you.
But there's an arrogance to people who get the messages on a daily basis and ignore the messages.
True.
There is an arrogance for the person to go, I know better than you.
That's right. The
message is being sent. If I don't listen, if I do this trust your struggle piece, and every time I do it, an hour later it sells, and I go, you know what? I don't think I should. Well, the universe is telling me your help. So just think, I paint Trust Your Struggle, right? I do this big graffiti piece, and in it, I put all my mantras. Fear is a liar. I've written fear is a liar for years. I put do it now, later becomes never. Mm-hmm. I put follow your heart. I write all these things hidden in this piece. Now you take it, you hang it, Your family looks at that every
Yeah.
day. Your kids look at. So for them, that trust your struggle will be something 10 years later, a different. But I'm involved in your family's. They look at my artwork. Yeah, something is telling me keep putting these pieces out for people.
Yeah.
And I would never think I know better than what the universe is telling me.
It's about surrendering, right? It's about surrendering to, you know what, this is in my heart, and this was given to me for a reason. And it's challenging to surrender when we don't know the how and we're not sure about the outcome.
I agree. At 38, 40, not so easy to surrender. You're still. I'm 56. Really. And, you see people, I'm seeing people my age not around anymore,
Well, talk to me about what being 56 has taught you, because, we've heard, we've all been young, and we've heard that like the youth is wasted on the young.
On the young, yeah.
And of course, as we get older, and I think especially like our generation, where it's like, you do not look 56, right?
Thank you.
I'm about to be 50. I get that. I don't look my age all the time. And I don't think that we thought that we would even look or feel like this at this age, because it's like, I don't even know what.
Well, when we were young,
Yeah.
56 looked like 86.
Yes.
You think about your
The Golden Girls.
You think about your 56-year-old uncles, like when you were a little kid.
Yeah.
They looked 80, but they were smoking in the car with the windows up, and they would drink. Nobody took care of themselves. But I don't even know what 50. I'm still feeling like that young kid,
Exactly.
insecure, not sure of what I'm doing.
But also surrendering and taking steps.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
It really is who I am, and it took me a long time to go. We're all working to change. Everybody's trying to we're going to do work on ourselves, and that's great mentally if you can get yourself clear. Meditating, TM, whatever it is you're doing, ice bath, sauna, all the above, right?
Yeah.
It's great, but if you can't get that noise to stop in your head, that 2 minutes, 3 minutes in the ice bath, as soon as you get out, the noise is back.
And we know those people. And we know those people that are doing all the things, and they're still doing it as a tactic, and they're still not calm on the inside.
They're numbing this pain. They're medicating.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they're medicating in a different way, in a newer way.
So the cool part about what I found my medication. So I'm medicated, no medicine.
Right.
My creating, when I sit down and I get to create something, I'm in a vacuum. It's total silence.
You're in the zone.
Yeah. If I'm laying in bed at night, I lay down, shut the light, my head hits the pillow. It's a shit show sometimes. 2007 shows up, 1999 shows up, 2012 shows up for 12 minutes. It waits for you to feel relaxed. Your most vulnerable point is you're laying down to go to bed, and it all comes for you.
Yeah.
All the stuff.
Yeah.
It waits. It didn't come all day. I didn't think about 2007 for the last whatever, and now I'm laying down and I could see it clear as day. It's going to come for you, but I found this thing that helps me deal with everything, and it's getting an idea, creating it.
That's
actually following
Action.
through. Actually following through. I could sit and think about all the stuff I didn't follow through on, all the disappointment in my life, all the people I disappointed, all the people I did not treat properly, but it's not doing me any good anymore.
That's right.
And it comes back, but moving forward, I am hyper-focused on treating people properly, being the best dad I could be, the best husband I could be, the best friend I could be, treating people properly. And what I'm finding is doing that, all of it's coming back for me.
Okay.
All the good energy's coming back.
Exactly. So I coach C-suite executives who run big teams and all of that stuff, and are very accomplished as well. And they have the same issue, right? Very similar issue, where it's like that negative voice is still in their head. It doesn't matter how many keynotes they've done. It doesn't matter how many people they speak to. That negative voice is still in there. And so to your point, and you're doing a lot of what I suggest to do, and maybe not in the same way, but taking note of all of the great things that you're doing, taking action and making a commitment to yourself and following through, that really builds your inner architecture so that the next time that negative voice is in your head, he's still there or she's still there, but it's a little quieter. It's not staying as long. I don't know that it ever goes away, but the goal is always like, let's let them stay a little bit shorter. Let's kick them out a little bit faster and let's quiet them down, right? So it sounds like you've really figured that part out. But I want to just rewind one more time.
Go ahead.
For when you made the final decision to leave your job, because I work with clients all the time that it's like, what's my next step? And fear.
I will tell you right off the bat, if I did not have the wife I have, my wife so 2010, I made my first cake. 2011, I decided I'm going all in.
1 year, only 1 year.
I'm going all in because somebody is telling me, yo, you could probably do this. If you dedicate your time, people are responding to you.
Yeah.
My wife has never hiccuped. We went months with no mortgage payment. I remember taking my car, my 745 IL to BMW, and I had to trade it in for a used Mini Cooper. Like, my kids went years. My kids made huge sacrifices at a young age where we went from great vacations to no vacations for years. But most relationships, that doesn't survive. You don't survive. It was a move on my part knowing I need to do this. But if you don't have the right support system behind you, you end up going back to whatever. Because, you're sitting at the table, you have enough money for 3 bills and there's 9 bills.
Yeah. Hard decisions.
And, the person is going, if you're not making any cakes, you're not the cake don. So what do we do? Like, what's happening here? Yeah. My wife didn't hiccup once, supported and said, if that's your dream, that's my dream.
She saw the vision.
That's the kid's dream. Still, like, I come up with some wacky shit, man, where my family is like, what? But they never are not behind me. So if you have that idea and you go to tell your family and every family member goes, you can't do that. That's never going to work. You believe it.
That's right.
You believe it. My family was like, okay, let's
roll.
Let's see how it's going. And my wife never hiccuped. Yeah. There was never a day. No, I'm not kidding. We went through some, the phone would ring and I'm thinking they're calling for something. They want a car back. And she never hiccuped. She never let me think I should do something else. That's the only reason. Like, if I had pressure to not do that, and I see it. I see conversations at dinner. You're out with a couple, and the wife or the husband will mention something, and the other one immediately goes,
shuts it down.
You can't. Stop the nonsense.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't have a yoga studio. You can't do. And I go,
Yeah.
But I will tell people, if your dream is to have something, come up with a plan. Have a plan first. I didn't make a plan. I had no bakery experience. I never worked in a bakery before. And now I'm telling people, I'm going to have the coolest cake shop on Long Island. They're like, what are you talking about? I never worked in a bakery. So once I sat down with myself, I had to get an entry-level bakery job. In a bakery, I got to learn the business now.
Yes.
So your mind goes, I need to learn what this world is about. So I got a job in Mario's Bakery in Oceanside. Pat Montezoli hired me, and I'm grateful. I'll be forever grateful to Pat. He was in the business for a very long time. He looked at me. He goes, all right, I'll hire you.
At 42.
42 years old.
Yeah.
He said, how much do you want a week? And clearly I didn't ask for what I was making before. But I said, I gave him this number, and he's like, okay, I'll give you that number. And I stayed with Pat for 3 years. And now I'm driving from Oceanside to Northport in my used Mini Cooper. And I'm not ashamed to say it. The amount of nights I cried in that car, thinking about the financial ruin I'm putting my family in by trying to chase this dream. What am I doing? I'm making these cakes. I'm working in a bakery. And I'm driving home. And I will circle back now when the universe decides it's going to talk to you. I'm driving home. I'm on Route 135, and I get a phone call from TLC Network, casting agent. And the casting agent goes, "This Don, yep. You have any interest in being on next season with Buddy Valastro on TLC?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to be on." They're like, "Okay, cool. We follow your Instagram and your Facebook. We think you have a really cool, you're not your typical cake person, you know." And I get on season 4 with Buddy. Like,
Wow.
the opportunity, I should have never been on. Like, I was so new, so green, but it wasn't about that.
It wasn't about
It was
that.
my time.
That's right.
To get on. I did a full season with Buddy, who I'm forever grateful to Buddy for putting me on that show. I learned so much. 10 episodes. Just think about this. 10 episodes, an hour a week. 1 hour for 10 weeks on TLC. You can't pay for that. You cannot pay for that.
Well, you know, they say that when you're following your dream, the universe conspires with you.
Yes, or against you, because it knows you shouldn't be doing that.
Well, if you're following your dream,
some people's dream is a shitty
your
dream.
real dream.
No, some people
You're
have
a legend.
Some people have very delusional dreams.
That's true.
Yes,
That's true.
And the universe keeps telling them,
Exactly.
"Yo,
Go sit down. Go over there.
Don't do this."
Yeah.
And they ignore it.
Yeah.
You should pay attention to what the universe is telling you. It is telling you exactly what you should be doing every day.
That's exactly right.
If you don't feel good doing what you're doing, if those fluorescent lights are wearing you out, if that headset is wearing you out, you know it.
Yep.
You know that 6:55 standing on the platform for the train to go, you know it's wearing you out.
Yeah.
Well, how much is it worth to you, though?
How much is it worth?
How much is it worth? How much more is that going to give you monetarily than you could create? And now with Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you could create some things
There's
on your own.
lots of opportunity,
Yes.
more opportunity than we've ever had ever.
Yeah.
And so to your point, if you're going to that job and you're miserable, then you have to figure out within yourself what your next move is. Because to your point, we're being told all of the time, we're just not listening.
But it comes with our age. It also comes with our age. How many times do you talk to your kid and you can see they're looking right through you, man? You're giving them gold. You're giving them life experience. You're telling them to their face.
Don't get me started, please.
And they're looking at you.
Don't get me started because I'm like, babe, people pay me to talk to them?
They don't care. They're like, okay,
they don't care.
so
They don't
what?
care. So I leave it.
Right, but we did the same thing to our
Exactly.
parents. They're going to
Exactly
learn
right.
what they learn on their
That's
own
exactly
path.
right.
And there are things I defer to my kids. My daughter knows about subjects I don't know about.
That's right.
And I will defer. And I'll say, "Yo, what do you think about this? What's your take on this?"
Yeah.
And then I will take what they give me. Just because chronologically I'm here before you doesn't mean I know more.
Exactly.
Right.
And to be honest, these kids these days, they're so advanced and the world is just different, right? The world is just different than what we know. So we don't know everything. The same way our parents didn't know everything. And so I think the more you can realize that be in that phase of curiosity and discovery, that's where you really get to evolve. And so I love everything about your story. So I want you to you've dropped so many beautiful like life gems and people that people should be really aware of. But I want you to give me some advice. If you had any advice to give your old 41-year-old self, what would you tell them?
The problem with my 41-year-old self, I don't know if that cat would have listened the way I listen now, but I'm still talking to myself every day. I'm having conversations with myself every day. I'm just trying to show myself some grace, man. Just allow myself for all the things I did and all the mistakes and all the people I mistreated. I'm trying to just be a little graceful with myself, because if I'm not, and I beat myself up, I know what that does to the people around me.
Yeah.
I am not good. If I'm not good to me, I'm not good to the people around me.
Yeah.
I'm my best to the people I love when I'm being okay to myself. I treat myself right. Take care of yourself. Go get your kid. Go to your favorite pizza place. Get a slice of pizza and a Diet Coke with ice in a paper cup. Sit and have a conversation. That little thing every once in a while will reset your barometer.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be chasing the thing, man. When I stop chasing the thing, that somebody else's thing, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks in Greece in the summer. It's never going to happen. I'm never. And if it is, and it is. But I would sit and look on Instagram and be like, how are all these people in Greece for 3 weeks? Why aren't I in Greece? How come I'm not on a boat?
Yeah.
That person is not at King Umberto's in Elmont with my daughter having a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
They're in Greece.
Yeah.
But I'm having a slice with my
Yeah.
kid in our favorite. I'm at a concert watching our favorite band. When you tweak the things, the important things, the achievement is real. You got to sit with your kid, have a slice of pizza and a Diet Coke and talk about whatever. You got to go to a show at the Paramount.
Yeah.
With your favorite people, dance, have a little tequila, whatever it is. If you set unrealistic goals, your disappointment will be realistic every day.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, man.
Now that was a
it.
that was a great one-liner right there.
That's exactly
that was a
right.
great one-liner
But I learned
right
it.
there.
I learned it with scars.
Yes.
I learned it the hard way.
Yes. And I think when we look back, I think that's one of the things that, and you said so much, but when I look back, it's like, how could I learn these lessons without so many scars? How can I learn these lessons? And at this point, this is where I'm
There's
at,
no
right?
lesson.
So the goal is to continue learning these lessons because we still have them, right? We're still learning them, but with less scars. That's my personal goal. So it sounds like, I want to ask you one last question before we go, which is, in this season that you're in, what do you have to release in order for you to get to your next level?
Yeah, it's what we talked about earlier. It's me believing the opportunities that I'm being given I deserve.
Yes, you deserve a seat at the table.
Yeah,
100%.
that's everything. I find myself talking myself out of opportunities, going, you know what? I'm gonna tell them I can't make it. I'm gonna say, yeah, I'll put it off to the next. Yeah, when I let it go and show up and just be me, and it's when all the good stuff happens for me. When I cancel and I go, you know what, I got this other thing going on, and I make up stuff, and I don't go, and I go, I got nothing. What am I going to offer this group of people?
What am I going to let me just level set that for you, because I was at a couple of years ago, I was at this talk, and I was in the audience, and there was a woman up there talking about imposter syndrome, and she was the first Black CEO in Silicon Valley. I forget what company she ran, but her counterparts are like, Bill Gates and all these people. She gets invited to be on a board, and she walks into a room, and it's people like that, the Bill Gates of the world, like the head tech guys. And she thought the same thing. What do I have to bring to this table? And we bring our own unique perspective. Right? We bring us, which is very different from them. And so I want us to just remind ourselves that we are special in our own right, and we are invited. If we're invited to that table, it's because we belong there.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell everybody, if you're making decisions to do business with people or to do podcasts with people based on how many followers they have, how many likes they get, if I get invited on a podcast, I do not check how many followers, how many likes, I look at the content, and if I like what the person is doing, I go on the podcast, because a year from now, you might have 2 million followers, and you're going to go, the Cake Don came on when I was over there. We had a great conversation. You might be running the media section, and you're going to go, you know what? I'm going to give him a call. You're going to remember, but the people that will only we all know them.
Oh, yes,
you
we do.
reach out,
Yes,
and they don't even,
do.
they read it. They don't even respond.
Yeah.
I reach out for collaborations with people that I admire.
Yeah.
I'll go on the
Same.
Instagram. I see they read it. They don't even respond. They don't even say anything.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do the collaboration, that's fine. Make decisions based on what appeals to you, not what is appealing to everybody else.
That's right.
Go on the show, do the podcast, because
there's a connection.
I know where you're going. You're going this way.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're going this way. We're all going to go. We could all go together.
That's
it's
right.
the other people that go, I'm going, and you're gonna stay over there. I'm not
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not taking you with me.
That's exactly
But
right.
we're all gonna go together. The bakery business on Long Island, we could all make money. I don't want to see anybody's bakery go out of business. We should all succeed.
And
All the restaurants should succeed. The pizza places. Everybody should do good.
And that's the thing that's really upsetting or refreshing, I'll say, for you to say that, is because when people say like about competition or whatever, I'm like, there's 3 million people in Brooklyn. Like, there's so many people. There's enough for everybody.
We could all get fat.
100%.
We could all get fat. We could
Yeah.
all get fat on Long Island.
That's
Everybody can make what they want to make, and it doesn't affect anybody else's thing.
That's
But
right.
the noise in their own head,
That's
their
right.
insecurities go, I feel better when you're down there and I'm up here. It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
But think about, I use comic books a lot. Being Batman walking around in a dark alley by yourself, or you're in the Avengers.
That's exactly right.
I want to be in the Avengers.
I want to be in the Avengers as well.
I want to be surrounded by the strongest, most badass, powerful.
That's right.
I want to be surrounded by creative people that make me better. Or you could be the Dark Knight walking around in the rain.
All alone. That's right.
Batman's bad. He's a badass, but I want to be in the Avengers every time.
Same.
But, yeah, man.
Same. We're on the same page for
Good.
sure. So I know you spoke about giving yourself grace. Can I give you an exercise to do?
Of course.
Okay. So one of the things we do often, or I tell my teams to do, and I've actually done it in workshops as well. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror every morning and talk to yourself, right? You're going to say, Dawn, I forgive you for. Dawn, I am proud of you for. And Dawn, I commit to. Every day, and make it different every single day for the next 30 days in order to give yourself grace and remind yourself of all the great things you're doing.
I will try my best.
Okay.
I will follow up with you and I'll let you know.
Definitely.
I will
Keep
let
me
you know
posted.
how that went. But
Keep me
I
posted.
appreciate all of it. I appreciate you having me here.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your story with us, for sharing all of the gems, all of the lessons, all of the things that you learned. And we are so excited to see where you are going to next and hear more about these rooms that you're being put in.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us here on Success Unscripted. If you enjoyed this podcast, if you got any gems out of it, please let us know. DM us and also follow along with The Cake Don everywhere. And let us know what you thought about this episode. Share it with someone and we'll talk soon. Take care.